everyone! Welcome back to my channel. This is Alrence, a licensed real estate sales agent in New York City. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more videos like this regarding New York City real estate and finance in general. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a kind of building which make up the most of New York City residential market. And this is a cooperative, or what we call co-op in the city. In this video, I will define a co-op, the timeline you should expect, the pros and cons of buying one, and also I will be explaining to you guys what is a maintenance and what is an assessment. So basically, everything you need to know about a co-op. So if you are planning to buy a co-op, make sure to stay until the end of my video so that you don't miss anything. Now let's start. So if you're asking, what's a co-op? A co-op or a cooperative is a kind of building that is owned by a corporation. Unlike a condo wherein you get a deed and it's considered as a real property, a co-op is different. Instead of having a deed, you basically have a share of that apartment of yours that is part of the corporation, and you will get a proprietary lease. The number of shares are not the same per shareholder. It will be determined depending on the size of the apartment. So the smaller the apartment, the smaller the shares of the owner. And if it's a larger apartment, it's a larger share of the owner. Like a corporation, it's run by the board of directors and the building management. The board is the one making decision for the building. They make sure that everything is efficient, the problems are resolved, and the building has strong financials. So if you're asking what is a co-op maintenance, a maintenance is a monthly fee that's paid to the co-op to make sure that everything is in place. The building is well maintained to make sure your home is a great place to live in. The maintenance basically covers the doorman, the staff, the maintenance salaries. The mortgage, utility bills, and taxes of the building is also covered by the maintenance. The maintenance is different per shareholder and not all are the same. It will basically depend on what kind of apartment you have. So most of the time, a lot of my clients will ask me what's a down payment for a co-op. So it will range around 20 to 30% of the purchase price. It can go up to 40% too, 50%, or sometimes like more than half of it. It just really depends on the building, but most of the time I've seen 20 to 30%. That's like the basic. Another frequently asked question is that, do I need a reserve money in buying a co-op? The answer in this question is that a good estimate of post-closing liquidity is to have a liquidity of 2 years. This basically means mortgage and maintenance for 24 months after the closing. So let's now go to the pros and cons of buying a co-op. First is that co-op is way more affordable. As most co-ops are built way back in the 19th century, they are more of an older building. And if you live in an older building, that means the building is not as equipped compared to a new development. It doesn't come with the latest technology compared to condos. So they're more of the older style of buildings. Co-ops typically make 75% of the New York City residential market, meaning you have lots of choices when it comes to co-ops. And more choices means less demand. That is why they are way more cheaper compared to a condo. Closing cost is also way lower compared to a condo. If you are buying a co-op, you are not entitled to a mortgage recording tax, which can be 1.8 to 1.92% of the purchase price. You are also not required to pay much of the title insurance and fees that condo buyers must pay. Second is that there's more stability in a co-op. Because of the strict process and the financial requirements, you can count on that the board makes sure that anyone who joins them bear financials easily and in the long term. Also, compared to a condo, most of the residents in a co-op are the owners themselves. Therefore, you can be more assured that they will take care of the building as their own. Your community of neighbors are most likely there for a long term. Compared to a condo, which there is not much stability, owners can rent their apartments easily, and then there's a high turnover rate. In a co-op, you can easily recognize your neighbors and make friends in the building. Also, because co-ops are stricter, when someone is not following the rules, they can easily impose a fine with that person. Not like a condo where they can do only little about it. So let's now go to the cons of buying a co-op. First is that they are way more stricter. There is a lot of requirements for you to be able to be approved in a co-op. You need to have a stable employment history, a very good credit, and a good amount of post-closing liquidity. Unlike a condo that as long as you have down payment and payment for the mortgage, you're basically good to go. You can get rejected by the board and they're not even required to tell you the reason behind your rejection. And this, my buyers and friends, are after a couple of months you waiting for the result. That being said, there can be a lot of wasted time and there are a lot of buyers that has a very slim chance of getting approved by a co-op. You can't also rent it right away because different co-ops have different rules. Most of the time, it will be 2 out of 5, meaning that you could just rent the apartment 2 years in every 5 years. That is why when I'm talking to an investor, I tell them to forget about it and then instead just focus their energy to condos and condo, which are more investor friendly. If you wanted to know more about condos, I already discussed it on another video on my page, so feel free to check it out. Second is that buying a co-op will take months to close. Applying for a co-op needs lots of information, and I mean personal information. They would like to know every detail about you. The board wants to make sure that you can really shoulder debt because the building will suffer if you don't. It's basically for the buildings and for everyone's protection. Condo is way lot easier to close compared to a co-op. It will just take an estimate of a few weeks for you to close them, but a co-op will take you 3 to 4 months. Third is that co-ops are more on the older style. They are built before 1970s and way before condos are born. And as they have older controls, they are more prone to updates compared to a condo which has newer technology. It will affect the maintenance of the building and sometimes it can get really expensive. And the next most asked question is that, what is the debt to income ratio needed for a co-op? So I will say a good estimate will be 25% after closing. So you'll have a higher chance of a smooth transition in a co-op application process. I understand that New York City can get really expensive. So the next most asked questions by my clients is that, is co-purchasing allowed? Most of the time, because the apartments are very expensive, you need someone to help you shoulder the bill. Some co-ops will allow gifting, which is a good thing. You just need to make sure and double check if the building allows it. And remember that gifting comes with a formal letter. So there you have it, the things that you need to know when buying a co-op in New York City. Are you a first-time buyer considering to buy a co-op or condo in New York City? If you are, please do not hesitate to contact me, and all my contact information is on the description below. I'd be happy to guide you and walk you through the process in buying a home in New York City. I hope this one helps, and if any of you are really interested in New York City home buying, selling, or renting, and if you have any questions, please also feel free to comment it down below or contact me via email. Thanks so much for watching, and please do not forget to hit that like and subscribe at the end of my video. Bye!